I'd like to talk about a few things. I didn't know your daughter was also a tennis player. I talked to your son today a bit about your family in general. I think they're off in Spain. Your wife and your daughter are in Spain. You're in North Van. Mats is in Kamloops. So I'd like to kind of touch on all that. It's pretty interesting to me, the whole international flavor of your family. But why don't we start with you? Catch us up on what you're up to these days and where you're at.
Like right now, I'm a skating and skills coach. I'm running the skills for West Van Academy, for St. George's Academy, and Richmond Jets, the association. And then I just have my own company, Lindgren Lead Hockey, and I'm running camps, programs.
I talked to Mats, your son, today about his skating, and he obviously really credits you for the work you put in with him and his skating. And also growing up in Sweden, he talked specifically about edge work they work on at a younger age, maybe in Sweden. But where do you see his skating coming from?
You know, we're fortunate enough. It's not like everywhere in Sweden, you know, they're doing an amazing job with their skating. But we were fortunate enough that when he was 5, we moved to Stockholm because I was going to coach there. And he had a really, Roger Dahlström is his name, but he had, you know, his philosophy and kind of what, you know, the curriculum is supposed to look like. He was definitely, you know, keeping that up. And, you know, it was hour after hour of just working on your edges, you know, and then always making sure that it's a little bit of a small area game in the end, you know, to keep the boys and girls, you know, happy and stuff like that. But I mean, I do think those 5 years that he spent with him kind of set, you know, the foundation, you know, with his edges. You know, once he had his, you know, foundation, you know, we can obviously do a little bit more with that. So when we came to Vancouver, you know, he worked with Victor Kratz also at times. Myself and Victor, we kind of worked together. And I think it's just the foundation that you have to build on your edges. I think is really good when you start young, because as you get older, you kind of want to, you don't necessarily want to spend too much time doing that. Then you have to move on and, you know, work on other things.
Right. Did your family move back to Canada specifically for the kids' athletics?
No, it was my wife. After I retired, we moved back. We were there for 10 years, and then it just came to, you know, my wife was like, I think it's a good time, you know, to move back before the kids gets too old and stuff like that. But it was more that, you know, she was, you know, at the time missing home a little bit and kind of wanted to come back to Vancouver.
Is she born in Honduras and grew up in Canada? Or what's her background?
Yeah, she was born in Honduras, and the family moved here when she was 3.
Was she an athlete as well? Like, I mean, both kids are athletic. I mean, was she an athletic as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's you know, it's just the same as me, I guess, as far as when we were younger. You know, that's kind of all we were interested in to a certain degree. We just loved to play sports, and you know, she played a lot of different sports, but I think into the college level, she was, you know, track, you know, played a lot of basketball and soccer. So same as me, I guess, a little bit of a multi-athlete.
And your daughter's Gabrielle, right? Is that how I say her name?
Yeah.
And she's playing tennis in Spain right now, I think, and your wife's over there too. I mean, what's life like for your family right now? It seems like there's a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just looking back at the last, you know, year and a half. I mean, it's been huge contrasts, you know, as far as, you know, for all of us. You know, during the pandemic there, when, you know, we were extremely close, because we as a family, we've always been close. But I'm just saying, like, the kids were not away. I mean, Mats was home. You know, I wasn't working because the rink was closed. So, I mean, we did everything together there for during the pandemic. And then the reason why they moved was more or less that I think tennis around the world didn't stop, but it did in Canada. So Canada was more or less the only country that, you know, shut everything down. There's no tournaments. There's no, you know, ITF tournaments. You know, you can start playing those when you're 13. They were all canceled in Canada, and it just came to a point like she needs to play tournaments. Yeah. So that's kind of started, and we actually had it set up with this academy where she's at right now. It's called Top Tennis. It's outside Barcelona. And everything was arranged for her to go there. It was beginning of January, but then Spain closed the borders. So, more or less the same week as they were heading out. So then it became really interesting. They went down 10 weeks to South Africa during COVID, and it's not easy to travel. Playing tournaments. She was practicing at Anthony Harris Tennis Academy and playing tournaments in South Africa for 10 weeks. And then they came back for a period of time, and then they headed out again to Peru for a few weeks. And then they came back again, and then they were heading out, and the borders opened. And that's when we had this opportunity to kind of, for Gabby to kind of explore that in Spain. So, and it's been really good. So I'm really happy, about the opportunity that she gets there. But that being said, it's lonely. You know what I mean? Like, it's lonely for me being, all of a sudden it's just me and the dog, which I'm not used to at all.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice, I guess. Where is she at in her career right now? She's still at the junior level. She's trying to get into pros, or where is she at right now as far as her career?
Yeah, so no, she's not. She turned 15 last week. So due to COVID, and couldn't really play as many tournaments. I mean, she's not pro, but she's kind of just climbing the junior rankings. That's what she's doing right now. Yeah.
I guess what do you make of the kind of international flavor of your family in general, and how it's kind of shaped who your kids are? I mean,
it's not as dramatic as it might sound or look like. I think we always supported each other, all four of us, and when it comes to the kids, I think it's just more kind of supporting them and trying to give them the opportunity to follow their dreams. They have a huge passion for their sports. But that's what I mean. Like, it's not that dramatic. It's just like, it's a little bit of a time now, like a couple of years, where I think it's important that you get that opportunity. Without the opportunity, it's hard. It doesn't matter what sport it is. But with FaceTime and so forth, I mean, it makes it a lot easier, talking at least a few times every day. And it's fun. It's fun.
Mats is getting a good opportunity in Kamloops, but for a while there, it looked like he was going to be going to Michigan. So I wanted to ask you about, what was it really that sold Mats and yourself and your family on changing course and coming to Kamloops?
Well, first of all, I think there was a lot of, I'm Swedish. We have a different, when we're talking about hockey, we have a different, we do things a little bit different back home. There's no bantam draft. It's fairly straightforward. Here in Canada, it was our first time experience this, and we got hit pretty hard with a little bit of the, with Michigan coming out and the scholarship, and then there was a bantam draft, and there was a lot of stuff going on. And I think in the end of the day, it was Mats' decision. We support him, and I mean, he has a great work ethic and is so driven, and for him, it became a fairly easy decision once Kamloops came in the picture.
Why was that? What was it? What is it about the Blazers organization that made that decision in his mind?
Well, I think one of the things, first of all, like when you're going to go the college path, like, I mean, you're going to have to wait, a few years down the road. And I do think that, the WHL is the best junior league in the world. And I do think that you have to be playing with the best to, try to reach your goals. And Matsi obviously was feeling that too. Michigan seems quite far away down the road, and Blazer was just around the corner. And of course, for him, looking at the facility and talking to the coaches and everybody there, like he got a really good feeling, and we supported the decision.
And what do you make of the team that he's landed on, and with Sean Clouston and the organization?
Yeah, no, it's really exciting. They have they have a lot of great young talent on the team. So for me as a fan, it's going to be fun to watch this group.
You kind of talked about it there, but he's starting to get more media attention now. The province just did an article on him. People know who you are. They know about the bloodlines, and that is some pressure on a 17-year-old kid. So what's it like for a parent who's also a former NHLer to watch his son start going through all these things with the extra attention he's getting?
Yeah, I do think it helped that I've gone through it myself. The good thing with him is he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's maybe from support from the family as well. But I think that's one of the most important things. Like it's don't listen too much about things that are good or bad or whatever it might be. Like you have a dream to kind of go as far as you can in your game, and you're putting in the work, and you just stay with that. Use your coaches for advice, and just trying to get better. Because it'll be for every player there are up and downs along the way, and don't get too high, don't sink too low, and just keep working.
So is he committed now to playing for Canada as opposed to Sweden? Down the road, like is he declared to be playing for Canada, or can he switch and play for Sweden at some point if he wants to?
No, he'll be with Canada. Yeah, he can't. There were some. I think there's, it's not going to happen, but there is always like a way out. Like there's a four-year win, like not a window. It's like a 4-year where you have to be not playing for anybody, and then you could potentially like switch back to,
yeah,
your other, just because you're dual citizen. No kidding. That's a little bit of a. It might sound a little silly, but when that decision came up, when he, a couple of years ago, it was, he was obviously thinking about it, and do we turn this down? Like, what do you feel, Matsy? And I think he felt like he didn't want to turn down the opportunity. He was very proud to represent Canada. His mother is Canadian. He's been living in Canada, and for every year he's just gonna, feel more like a Canadian. So, yeah, we're happy with this decision.
Did your wife grow up in BC?
Yeah,
she did. Okay, like Vancouver.
White Rock.
In White Rock. Oh, that's where I'm from. Yeah, I grew up in White Rock. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that's it's a nice spot.
Yeah. Lastly, hoping to talk some Canucks with you about your brief tenure with the Canucks. I think it was 02, 03.
I was there for a fairly short period of time when I left New York, and I really wish, I don't know if that was your question, but I really wish I would have been healthy, because it was a great fit for me, and the team that we had was great. DeMarcus, Todd, and Brandon. Just kind of leading the charge, but we had quite a bit of depth. Myself playing with Trevor Linden, on a third and fourth line. We just had, the team was built fairly good, but then there were a couple of incidents that happened towards the end of the year that kind of changed it a bit. But that's what I'm looking back at my time in Vancouver. I wish that, I was here for 2 years. The second year, I had multiple back surgeries, and I could never recover from it. But, I wish it would have been a little bit different, so I could have enjoyed it and, potentially played here for a lot longer than those 1-2 years that I was here, that I was there.
Was 03 the Bertuzzi incident year, or is that 04? When he got suspended near the end of the season there for the with the punch.
Yeah. I think that was before. I think that was the year after. I'm just trying to think, because I came back, I had so many back problems. I'm just trying to think, because I was not playing. So
okay.
I was in the locker room right after that happened when Todd came in and stuff. So it's, but I can't even tell you if it was 03 or 04.
Right. What do you remember about that? How what was it like around the team at that point?
I think anytime something like that is happening, it hits the individual quite hard. It was not a good time for anybody. You know, his teammates and stuff, we obviously supported him, you know, 100%. But, you know, at the time, I think obviously when it was hard. It was hard for him. You know, sometimes stuff happens that you probably wish it wouldn't, but that's the game of hockey.
Yeah. Just lastly, anything you want to add about Mats, and you know what excites you most about this season ahead, as far as the potential that there is for Mats out here in Kamloops?
Well, I want him to enjoy it, and that's kind of what it goes with what I told you before. There's a lot of stuff going on all the time, but like in the end of the day, and you know, both myself and my wife, like, we want him to enjoy this. You know what I mean? Like it's a great time of your life. You know what I mean? You're a young kid, you know, playing junior hockey and in front of hopefully a lot of people. So I think the most important thing is that you really enjoy this journey.